And we bring you the most fascinating nature photography of the year. But first, we visit the New York Philharmonic to follow in the footsteps of its one-time music director Gustav Mahler, a century after his death.
The New York Philharmonic, under Alan Gilbert, is playing Mahler's Second Symphony. Mahler holds a special place in the history of the Philharmonic. He was its music director from 1909 until shortly before his death in 1911.
I mean, it's the Resurrection Symphony, so it's about sort of life, I guess. And I think it's really moving, especially the last movement. It's a really powerful symphony.
You know, it's extraterrestrial. It's something out of this world for me, to be honest with you. The sound is so big at some times and so sweet at other times. I love it.
It's a very existential piece that I don't ever miss whenever I have the opportunity to catch it.
The Philharmonic's principal timpanist is Markus Roten from Germany. We talked to him in the basement of Avery Fisher Hall. The orchestra also performed Mahler's Second at a free concert in September to mark the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks.
In the first movement, there's a section where there's an incredible climax, and you just want to leap out of your seat. At that very moment, the audience started clapping, which was completely unexpected, but it created a very special atmosphere.
Markus Roten has played with many orchestras, including in Berlin and Munich. Mahler is in the repertoire everywhere. But New Yorkers have a special relationship to the composer.
Of course, it's a source of pride to be able to say that Gustav Mahler was our music director and brought his voice to us. I was in the archive and saw his originals. It's truly something special.
The Philharmonic's archives are just a few steps away from the rehearsal room. Barbara Hawes is a historian and the orchestra's archivist.
This is Mahler on the streets of New York. As you can see, doesn't take long to kind of look a little raggedy on white. I think he looks like a typical New Yorker in this one, walking down the street, caught with a cigarette in his hand.
Mahler wasn't universally admired. Arturo Toscanini, who later had the same job at the Philharmonic, didn't hold him in high esteem. He also objected to changes Mahler made to a Beethoven score that was too difficult for the orchestra.
Crossed out. And so this is 1909. In 1933, Toscanini picks up this score. He sees that these changes, this doubling, is Mahler. So we see that these changes are here. This. And Toscanini writes, unworthy of such a musician, A. Toscanini. I mean, he's outraged. He even signs his name.
We go to Brooklyn to visit the grave of a man who adored Mahler, Leonard Bernstein. He too was music director of the Philharmonic for many years, and he stipulated that he be buried with the score of Mahler's Fifth over his heart. Mahler used to go for walks in Manhattan's Central Park. Here we meet Louis Smoley, president of the Gustav Mahler Society of New York, which is dedicated to preserving the composer's legacy.
Mahler is performed wherever Mahler can be performed. Of course, his works are enormous. For example, I think the entire Eighth Symphony, which is such a gigantic work, has been performed at St. John the Divine, a church, which is a huge church in northern Manhattan.
Louis Smoley takes us to a Mahler Society meeting at a nearby restaurant. The members are true devotees of the composer who had such a profound impact on the city's musical history.
it gives people who love Mahler a chance to get together. We present programs, lectures, concerts of Mahler's music and music of other composers who either knew Mahler or style relates to Mahler.
The New York Philharmonic is one of the world's great orchestras, in part thanks to Mahler, who reorganized it and insisted on intense and lengthy rehearsals. During his time in the city, he helped awaken curiosity about modern music, and his works remain favorites of audiences here. He left in April 1911 and died in Vienna the following month.
Now we meet the Saudi artists